Right, so let's get into the main topic of the day. Tyrese Gibson and Samantha Lee. Samantha Lee is a YouTuber too. And we've covered the Tyrese story quite a bit here. We've covered it quite a bit. And for the most part, you know, the lames are going to think I'm blaming Tyrese. I'm never blaming. I don't even believe in blame. I think blame is anti-seductive behavior. Personally, I don't use shaming, blaming, insult. I don't think that's necessary. I think what we can say is that, well, if you move this way, it can relate to this. I'll point it out for you. That's all. Especially if you're a man. Yes. Why? Because I can relate with you more. And, you know, so Tyrese has had it bad in recent years. That's very, very fair to say. I think she ended up with $20,000 for child support and stuff like that. So it was very, very nasty in the public eyes. They've been separated for 3.5 years. Their divorce finalized last year, just 1 year, you know. And Tyrese jumped out into the middle of the streets and dragged her as much as he can. And in my opinion, that's always a bad move. Okay? Not blaming him. Sometimes you just... But it's a sign. The point is that it's a sign that you feel helpless, that you've lost control, not of her, of your own life. That's what it means, okay? And it's not a crime to be in that position. Some of us have been there before. And what we find is that oftentimes we have to come back to the negotiation tables, right? Your negotiation skills, right? Patience and your negotiation skills. If you don't learn it now, you will learn it later. If you have to learn it later, you create more damages. That's just how it works, and that's fair. Why? Because for all 8 billion of us, it's the same story. Okay, same story across the board. But the wife was on Hardly Initiated, which I love those guys' shows, by the way. And she's also a therapist by trade, something like that, I guess, you know. And the red pill manosphere related affiliated people are still dragging her, you know, because they feel like she's a chameleon. It's the labels for me. A lot of time is basically Ketu calling the pot black. Abi, how do you say it? Right? It's just a bunch of hypocrites judging people, you know. I think these people are not bad people. Both of them are not bad people. In fact, I made it very clear when I was covering Tyrese here multiple times that Tyrese is a Mr. Nice Guy. It's a good guy. And it's a guy who expects that everything should work out well for him because he's a good guy. And that's not the real world. We just don't live in that type of world. Like, what do you want me to tell you? I'm laughing because the same people who claim to be red pill have a hard time facing the reality. Once you enter court, right, either by your own doing or not, as long as you were in a marriage with that person, it's fair. Once you are in that zone, all bets are off, all gloves are off. It's not, there's no such thing as fighting fair, especially when lawyers are involved. So she has something to say, and I'm going to play some of those videos. And then, you know, I'll play just a very short one. Then I want to see what Patrick actually has to say about this. And then we'll take it. There's two particular part of the clip I'm going to play. Let's see here. Okay, there you go. Let's share this. Make it bigger. And I saw Ice in the chat over there fighting some people that their name would not be mentioned here. But let's play this real quickly. Fair use.
But I'm curious to know, you know, assuming that, you know, this person was open to it, are you now in the spirit of potentially even being able to rekindle a relationship, like rekindle that relationship? Is your spirit in that place, or could it ever go back to that place?
Oh my gosh, he was asking me this. Can we get an edit?
Is that a hard question?
It's loaded because of the fact that there's been so much that's happened, you know, like there's been so much that's occurred. Okay. It's my daughter's father. So I would.
All right, so that answer is a yes. Before we even get anything, because remember when it used to be no, it wasn't that hard to get it out, right? It wasn't that hard to get that answer out, right? So
I would say this. I would say that if we were both going to show up and we were both.
all right, so that's the first condition she's given. If we're both going to show up, right? So she's already. What does that mean? What does that even mean? That is so vague, right? If we're good. If we're both going to show up, what's the second condition? Hold on 1 second. Let me see here. Let me close this guy right here. All right, good.
Both going to fight for it.
If we're both going to fight for it, that's the second condition, right? If we're both going to show up, if we're both going to fight for it. Some few days ago, I covered what it means to fight for. In some contexts, it's a bad idea to be fighting, right? And then some people, when they say fight, they literally mean fight, potentially throwing hands, right? So it depends what do we mean by fight, but she said fight for it. I guess she's talking about fight for the relationship, right? All right, so what that means to people is different. Show up, fight for it. Let's go.
Equally and sacrifice.
Oh, she had it equally. Equally. What she meant, okay, I'm guessing, so I don't need to pick her words, is it feels equally. Because sometimes when it's actually equal, the other person still feels like they're doing most of the work, right? And at that point, it's not good enough. Even if there was a way to measure emotions and it was equally, right? But once one person doesn't feel like it's equal, right? And the reason why they don't feel like it's equal can go all the way back to their childhood, right? What they saw, what conditioned them, what they think is fairness, what they think is acceptable, their own realistic expectations, their own sense of pride, right? Lack of skills, lack of game, all of that, right? Can turn to fight for, right?
Sacrifice equally.
She says sacrifice equally. Again, the idea of sacrifice and equally is already an oxymoron. Sacrifice equally, then it's not really a sacrifice. Who is measuring? But anyway, I'm just asking a wild question. Give me your comment, because I have some other things here and I want to get to Brother Patrick in a second. All right, but she says sacrifice equally. What is that? Are we measuring that over time? Or I feel like we're sacrificing equally right now? Because oftentimes you feel like you're sacrificing and the other person does not appreciate it, right? So it feels like you're just pouring from an empty pot. It feels like you're pouring into a basket, like it's leaking right out the bottom, right? Feel feelings all over the place, right? We're not talking feelings. Let's just do logic. No, bro, it's all feelings. You're copying.
Like, things that I.
Just look at this pretty girl's face. You think she's gonna listen to you when you say logic? She will even use logic ahead of you, and then you still find yourself in poto.
Needed, and things that he needed. I wasn't perfect.
She said I wasn't perfect. Guess what? That wasn't good enough for some people, but she said I wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Your girl ain't perfect. So I would say that if we were both willing to fight and we were both willing to do certain things, and
what's certain things? What is certain things? We're both willing to do certain things. It's a lot of vague talk, but it's a show, so she can't speak too specific, she said.
Yes.
She said yes.
Something about that actually makes me very happy.
No, I don't know if that makes
I don't know why.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if it's my child, like, no one wants a broken family. No,
that's exactly that's what it is for me.
Yeah, like if it was something that it was like.
No. Some men believe somebody is waking up and say, I want a broken family, which is why they keep coming up with terrible solutions, because they can't really properly comprehend the intentions behind how people move in the first place, right? So they now these people just wake up, they just want to break up families. Like, please write that down on paper so I can. Yeah.
If it was a situation, you have to hear me, sir. Excuse me. You have to hear me all the way. You have to hear me all the way.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so my whole point is that if we were both sacrificed, like there was things I asked for, those things were worked on. And
Did you hear the "we were both" thing again? Both of you guys, remember what I told you about that? It's not like it never works. I'm just saying, be careful. Whenever you see somebody say, both of you guys should, be careful with those type of advice. They usually end up right in the pot because they're useless. Okay? Usually one person feels like they're doing more than enough already.
we were working towards those things. I was working whatever he may have came up with that he felt like I needed to work on. Whatever. If we were both willing to work, then yeah.
Anyway, at some point, yes, we hopefully both people are sowing seeds into the relationship, right? Hopefully. But I'm just saying, when you're in crisis, usually at least one person feeling like they're overdoing and the other person, no, you're not doing enough. And this types of advice never really address that, you know. So Esa, I don't know if you got enough context there. You have some word that you can add on to that?
I got it right.
Good.
Yeah, Allah, you know, from my experience and from family that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, when the woman goes through divorce, some of them, there's like something died in them, especially women.
Yeah.
Serious. I've seen a couple of, I'm going to give you an example, especially women that lost their husband, that got pie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them will say, I'm not going to marry.
Like widows.
Yeah, some of them will say, I'm not going to marry again, and they keep to it.
Mm.
And you know, people that got divorced, maybe there's that strong trust. You know, you've always been saying emotion is not your mate.
Right.
It goes deeper than the way we the outsiders are thinking.
Right. There's more to it.
There's more to it.
Yes, there's always more to it.
She must have said no before, but going back, at least she's giving why this could work out. There's room. It might not be any other person's, or her own, it might not be any other person, so I'm not going to judge her for that.
Right.
The first thing she said, the father of my daughter.
Right. So let me bring you up to speed really quickly, sir. So this girl, she's known publicly based off of Tyrese's story. Okay, Tyrese's story to the public is that, and it's verifiable because there's court documents. I think there's some public court documents and stuff. It was a dirty fight in court, both for, like, she ended up with $20,000 a month or something like that, but I think it was temporary. I think it was because Tyrese did not follow the orders or something like that. So you remember that, right? So, but some people are running with that story without giving the full gist, but it's internet, so I let people do what they want to do, right? So now, throughout that time, sir, she had been teaching some relationship stuff on YouTube, and people are like, they even said some people reported her YouTube page that she's disingenuous, right? They're saying she's teaching what she doesn't follow because she was quiet. While Tyrese was making all this noise, she was quiet. She didn't say anything about it. But she was teaching people opposite of what Tyrese is accusing her of. You know? So I was looking at the chat when I was watching this earlier on today. I even posted it in the group. I don't know if you saw it. And some people were not having it. They basically don't believe her or anything like that. And this type of people that just go by the words is always funny to me, because these are the same people that still fall for the same type of hypocrisy they're trying to run away from. For me personally, sir, I don't look at what people say. I kind of do, but I read beyond their words, you know.
I know, Allah, you know, marriage is deep.
It's deeper than what they're saying.
Some people, it would have been better for you to even be friends.
Right.
But when you are into it, you say, oh my God, how do I get away from this? You know what I mean? It's a give and take.
Yeah. Let me share this with you. I'm going to share about 16 points she made on the surface with you, and then you can just speak to it. The first thing she said is that she should have waited a little bit longer. She should have had a lot more patience. She said that people should not be making divorce decisions off of emotional intoxication. Speak to that, sir.
She said so.
She said so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I just said it. That's something, we talk about emotional intelligence.
Yep.
Like at my age now, there's some decision I made that take time.
Take time. Time.
I'll be taking my shower. The thing will just click.
It will click. Right?
Thank you, Jesus.
Right. But it's taking that time.
Yes. I can't just,
Yes.
I can't just do it at this level.
Yeah.
It's helping me a lot.
Yep. Some people, I think I can get a good advice from anybody. They might not even know they're giving a good advice. What she did in our family is not far-fetched from what most women do when they are angry. When she says emotional intoxication, she's talking about the anger that takes you on when all you want to do is leave, right? And when we get out into this internet street, if for every 1,000, I'm just gonna throw a guess out there. You can answer in the chat. For every 1,000 advice, how many of them do you see that say run for your life? Run for your life. You can put your answer in the chat. Here's the second thing she said, sir. Okay. She said the opposite of love is not hate. If you feel that level of hate, it's not the absence of love.
If you feel that level of hate,
right, that hate that you feel when you're trying to leave a marriage. She said, because she's basically being remorseful that she should have, taken some time.
Yes, she should have. That's why
she just felt like she wanted to run. She said she's a runner. She also mentioned that. I'll talk about that later on. And then, yes, sir.
Some women, some people, both men and women, the way they were brought up, it goes a long way in affecting marriage.
Right.
I tell you, Ola,
And she mentioned that too. Yeah.
So I had a girl one time. When we had issue, and I was okay, I'll see you. She said, no, don't go. That was what first he ran after me. She said, no, pass it. Can we just talk this thing? You are going to mess me up if you leave me. So that was when I'm not used to that kind of thing, lifestyle, sitting there, okay, let me cool down. And say, no, please, I'm not fighting you. Can we just talk about it?
Yeah, there's some people like that. They need to talk about it.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I learned from that because she's the kind of person like that, you understand?
Right.
And, maybe a man or a woman, it has to do with where you are coming from, the position you are occupying, your family, how you are being treated. It goes a long way.
Yes, yes, it does.
Married, I begin to grow, I begin to understand something. It might not even be the fault of this lady, it might not be the fault of this man.
Yeah, yes.
It has to do with her upbringing.
Yep.
Yes, she has never been married before. This is her first time of getting married. So, what of us are just starter, you know what I mean? So, I begin to forgive one another and say, okay, you wear the good side from the bad side. If the good side is like 80% and 20%, why are you just don't allow it to develop into 8? God.
Right. So they ask her if she feels like not being a part of a pro-marriage community affected her decision at the time. And she kind of slightly blamed the lawyers because she said once you call a lawyer, that's it's probably just going to go down the drain from there. And she tried to say I'm not throwing the lawyers under the bus, but the lawyers, like, once that's the first people you're calling, they're not designed to help you keep things together. And that's considering the fact that you have emotional intoxication, which is not necessarily your fault. It's just the state of mind at that point. And then you feel like you hate this person. You're expressing all of that. You express that to the wrong person, aka people that they don't consider themselves anti-marriage community, but like no one wants to wake up and say I'm anti-marriage community. Like nobody does that. But if people have collected shege from inside marriage, right, it might be hard for them. It gets a little bit harder for them to hear you talk about how much you hate. I mean, if you look at how Tyrese was acting, I can see how the wife, who does not know any better, can feel like they hate him and feel like they want to run away from him, right? We saw Envy, him and Envy on the radio show. Like, we saw how he acted, how he conducted himself when he's emotionally charged, emotionally intoxicated. Those two things, they don't go together, right? So, in your opinion, sir, have you felt like the internet, maybe some parts of the internet has anti-marriage community, and would you advise that a person definitely find a place for pro-marriage community? Because she also she talked about something before you go, sir. She talked about her friends advocate for her, which is a good thing, which is not a bad thing, but they're not necessarily advocates for marriage or the relationship. Which the relationship, you can kill the marriage, but you're gonna need to sustain the relationship somehow, some way, right? So this pro-marriage community, just speak to that, sir.
Yeah, number one, internet is not the best place to do for advice. Don't just you're just destroying everything. Yeah.
Everybody's just on cruise. Yes.
Don't do that. You know, there's a Yoruba song, my friend like show.
That's true. That's true. How do we translate that now?
Whoever wants to give you clothes to wear, what wearing.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's what are you wearing? Like, if you're going to advise me, like, let me see your results first, right? And that kind of kick against what I just said, which is anybody, I can get a good advice from anywhere, right? But if you were to do proper assessments, you would at least make sure that the person know what they're doing, or at least they sound like they're making sense, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it also depends, like she talked, it has to do with the group of people you are moving with.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
But let's a pushback, sir. A quick pushback. These people are her loved ones. These are her loved ones. They mean well for her. They are advocating for her, right? But not necessarily for. They don't necessarily have the full comprehension of what a marriage means.
Yes. You know, at that particular time, this lady might not be able to make a good judgment.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's a major point here. Going back to number one.
You won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
You will need a professional, well-known. And, it could be an outsider that has its told.
Right.
That knows what marriage is, that has the fear of God, that you can see in her.
Right.
Him.
Right.
To say my daughter, it goes a long way.
Yeah. As if you were thinking about, it looks like you were reading ahead of me. Number 4 says not in a position to decide on divorce.
Yeah. I just told you a lot.
Yep. Chinye. Alpha. Chinye, you did there?
I did. Sorry, let me go where it's quiet. My son is over here back to me. Let me go.
Okay, let me know in the private chat once you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, get a good mic though. You sound more food. Maybe the Bluetooth. All right. All right. Cool. Advocating for her versus the marriage. That's number 5. And then number 6. She said families don't win in divorce. Lawyers win. What do you think about that, sir?
What does it mean by lawyers win?
A lawyer, they make money. Lawyers will get their money.
That's their job now.
That's what she's saying. She said, but I think her main point here is that family, like if you want to remain a family, then if there's something that to hold on to, then lawyers are not there to advise you. They're supposed to help you facilitate a good divorce.
Lawyer is telling you that you are right. This is what you are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the job of lawyer.
that is right. Exactly, that's their job, right? What do you want? We represent you based on what you want. They don't tell you what you want.
Your lawyer is your defense. So
right.
Lawyer is not your shoe. Lawyer will go home to go and meet his wife or husband.
Yep. Hey Roro, welcome Roro. I just noticed you're here.
Wow,
Yeah. Chiye, talk to me.
Good evening, bro, Patrick.
Oh, better.
Gee, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good to
This
hear your voice.
same here, sir. So I watched the show. Oh
You
my
did.
God, they were dragging her to filth,
Listen, listen. They
and
were dragging her.
a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we're confused. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't believe you. Oh, this and that." I mean, I know there was a time she was rambling a little bit, but I could pick out things that she was trying to say.
Right.
And a lot of people, I think Brennan Lee is a big YouTuber or whatever. She kept she kept making negative comments to her, like, "Oh, that man didn't even do anything."
Brandon something, right? Brandon something, right?
Brennan Lee, Breny Lee. She has a big
Oh,
YouTube
okay. Okay.
channel. So she kept saying, and I think she's in UK, but she kept in the comment section, she kept saying, "Oh, that man didn't even do enough things to you to even ask for divorce." And a lot of people,
That's a very, very stupid statement to make.
a lot of people kept saying the same thing. A lot of people kept,
Yeah, because they're all dumb. Anybody who said they're all dumb.
but the lady was there, like pouring her heart out, saying, "I," like you could tell there's a lot of regret. She was saying that when everything was still hot, when she was feeling really hurt from him.
Right.
Like, they're not hearing her say, like, "Oh, when I was feeling really hurt by him, and I'm a very emotional person, so that at that moment it was like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore." And then she was saying that people should not make such a heavy decision like that.
Right. She was literally saying, don't do what I did.
She was saying, they shouldn't make, because as she made such a huge life decision.
Yeah.
To make a life decision to marry is a huge deal. To make a life decision to divorce is a huge deal. So she was saying,
Yeah.
make that kind of decision when you're in that type of mental state.
Right. Don't make your life. Yes. That's what she was saying.
But all the people they were like barking like that, like little chihuahuas.
And then somebody's gonna try to tell me they don't understand what she was saying. No, you just made up your mind on bullshit you don't know anything about.
Because Oga Tyrese knows how to come out and whine.
Yeah.
Say that he's innocent. He cannot, it's a marriage.
And that's a red flag. If you're just all innocent when you are narrating, that's a red flag already.
By the way he was going out in these streets, tells me he's a difficult person to be with.
It's obvious.
What he was doing completely
to me at least.
completely reminded me of Dotu.
Exactly, it's the same person. It's the same person. It's like Dotu, Tyrese, Kanye West. It's the same person.
Oh, I want to speak my truth.
Speak your foof.
So my thing is, she was basically holding herself accountable, saying, "Hey, I shouldn't have made that decision."
She was holding herself. Sorry to cut you, Chie Mabino. She was holding herself accountable, and there's this weirdos in the chat asking her for accountability. I'm like, is it me?
Are we watching the same show?
I'm like, is it me?
And so Brandon Lee was like, "Oh, you're just saying a whole bunch of nothing." What? Like, I know she was rambling a little bit, but you could still, because your mind is already made up. She's supposed
to ramble. She's on the show. She's getting her thoughts out.
It's a very, like, the questions they're asking her were really difficult questions, and she was trying to choose her words carefully to not say anything to
right against his persona.
Tyrese.
Yeah, she was protecting his brand all throughout the whole.
And even though Tyrese dragged the crap out of her, I mean, that should give her some type of credit that Tyrese dragged her all this time. I'm sure she has a lot of points to drag him back.
Of course.
She didn't go that route. So what people were saying were, I remember I read some saying, "Oh, well," but from what we're saying from her, it sounds like Tyrese is actually right. You just made this decision. I'm like, oh my God. You guys just like,
it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Hold on, Chie. These are some of the things so we can continue, right? Now, she said when lawyers get involved, it gets ugly. It's not because lawyers telling you to get ugly. It's because they will show you how the other person, they're there to represent you legally, right? Number 8, a lot of women want to get married to get married. She said that. But there's some people came there to drag women. She's saying that. Can you give us some room to express more of that? Can you pay attention to maybe this person has learned not to move this way, right?
Right.
But the part they're disconnected from is that when a person is angry, when emotions is operating, right? Just like those morons that were dragging her in the chat. When emotions is overwhelming you, that's how you sound. You sound hurt. You sound like you're ready to hurt somebody else. And that's precisely what you're going to do. She said, I could have been a little more patient. She said that with her own words. Does it mean she's going to change? No, we don't know that. The point I'm making to you is that there's no guarantee in life. And you need to manage your expectations around other human beings, and you don't know what happened in that household. The only thing we know is that Tyrese moved 10,000 times more emotionally than what we saw on the internet. Right. We know that part because when he's inside, what did he do? If he did that in public, that's the question you should ask yourself. Divorce is usually a slow process. She's saying that to people, like, don't think that you're running away from your problems, because divorce is actually going to drag you too. If you think divorce is a quick escape, she's saying it's not, basically.
That's fun, man.
She said, the kids are not your therapist. Leave them out of your decision. She said she cried at one point, and she said, I thought I was protecting. I didn't want my daughter to see what I saw.
I saw. She didn't realize her daughter heard her.
And her daughter heard her. And she's saying, leave your kids out of this stuff, right? They're not your therapist, right? She said, when God taps you out, you have clarity. If you really feel like it's divorce, you will have clarity. If you have to ask this person, all these hurt people in the streets, if you are asking them, they will tell you one thing. They will say, run, even if your situation is not about running. If your situation is about back off a little bit so you can see what's going on. The whole point of separations, right? And then she said, women have casual, she agreed to women have casual mindset about divorce. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of what I see in that live stream, right? And then she said, I think she said I was a runner. She didn't realize how much of a runner she was, right? Mm-hmm.
Just that part. Because for her to say that was actually heavy. I remember somebody in the chat, one of her
you sound like you're skipping. Come close to the phone.
Okay, sorry. I said that I wanted to address that I'm a runner one, because I remember one of her fans gave two big super chats, and they posed some questions that made her speak on this. And so basically they asked her what are some of the red flags from her own side that Tyrese could have spotted. And that's just still herself holding herself accountable, saying that was a red flag from her that actually showed itself when they were still dating. And then she went ahead and explained that, that she's a runner. Like, anytime anything is about to go down, it's like, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like that, and it is what it is. I think they also alluded to the fact that it's the same thing as there's the avoidant theory, attachment theory thing. I forgot what they call it, but the attachment theory, basically. Anyway, some people are runners, some people are fighters, some people are flight. Yeah,
and it's like, some people were like, let me get out of here before you beat me to it.
Right.
Let me run out of here before, it's like a way for them. They're trying to protect themselves, but that's not really the best way to go about things, because you keep running and running. When would the running stop? Because human beings, I'm learning that human beings are very, very complicated.
Yes.
Even when you meet someone that is like really good and kind to you, there's still a complicated aspect of them being a human being with a soul and a spirit.
And we're talking about you as a person. You as a person, not just the other person you're pointing figure at. We are complicated people. Yes. Yeah.
It's not a black and white. It's not A and B. It's not. It's not a multiple choice question. It's way
Even if it's 5 choices, it's still more complicated than that, right?
So and I really love the way the guys, Tyshawn and the other guy, they were very gracious towards her.
Right.
They tried their best to create that comfortable environment. They were not judgmental at all. Some of their questions, it was more like a learning, they asked us some difficult questions, and it's not easy to actually come and pour your heart out the best way you can and choosing your words carefully. Not to drag the food that dragged the crap out of you. Just like still try to be gracious, and they were over there dragging.
Right. People, man. People are just judgmental. Let me play this real quickly. Yeah, it looks like did you fade out or you skipped out? Which one? Or you're done?
I'm so sorry. A call was coming in.
Oh, call came okay.
And I was running my mouth, not realizing that you guys can't hear me anymore.
Yeah, just for like 2 seconds or so. Watch this one. Watch this one, right? Let me see here.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening.
This is Billy the caller, right?
The people in the chat, they're so crazy.
this in fact, let me look at the chat right now. Billy the caller.
My name is.
The whole time when
Jesus Christ, these people, man. Oh man, the internet has given everybody microphone. People that need to go and sort their own issues out. So anybody just running their mouth, not just microphone, even fingers, But it's fun to watch. At least we know the mindset of people. Listen to this.
I'll call myself Billy. I'm from the East Coast, and I'm over 40.
What up, Billy?
Hey, everything's good. Hey, first of all, I appreciate the show tonight. Appreciate the young lady that's on the show. I would like to make a statement.
No statement.
No statement.
No statement.
No. Abort mission. No statement. Listen. I see how we're talking right now. I don't mind when we have a conversation, but not everybody deserves an opinion. I don't believe everyone should be making opinions. I think majority of people should be asking questions. Right. Okay, and it's not about the question they're asking. They should learn how to just get in the habit of asking questions as opposed to making conclusive statements off of what they see on the surface.
Right.
You don't know me. You know me, but not really. Okay. In fact, on this show right now, majority of people, I think the only person I met in person ever is Natu. Right. So now we feel like we know each other. How much more when this is a celebrity and their storyline? That's Tyrese's wife. She took $20,000. You're just a gold digger. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know shit. And the lawyers will be the first to tell you don't know anything. Like, shut up. You can't always have a statement. You don't need an opinion. Change your opinion to a goddamn question. Be open-minded.
Allah, some people work in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Department of Great Britain.
He said, I don't want to make a statement. No, it's for questions.
They have to cut him short right away. And then
wait, just wait and see. Let's see how successful they did with it.
The question
Questions
for
on
Powerful. This is a powerful statement.
It's a powerful statement.
It cracks me up so funny.
And what I'm about to tell you is going to change your life. You see what the internet has done to us? People that need to be asking more questions, they think they have something to say. Because I'm over 40.
Going through a divorce at that time. Oh my God.
You see, these lessons are in every corner. Just in life in general, on a date, asking quality questions shows the kind of quality of a person you are. If you're just making conclusive statements, you can't wait for your turn. It's my turn. I have an opinion too. It says a lot about you. You're probably a close-minded person. That means you've closed your mind. You don't learn anything else outside of what you are familiar with, and you're dangerous to yourself.
Questions only, Billy.
All right. So my question is this:
He's trying, but it's not gonna work.
that if pain was part of the process, and you understood that pain was part of the process, would you have gotten a divorce because of the pain?
That's bullshit talk. If pain was part of it, he wanted to preach. He just wanted to preach that pain is part of the process. Don't leave a relationship because you have pain. Baba, is pain the same thing as me? Do we understand pain the same way? And by the way, everything she said basically allude to that anyway.
Right.
It's just somebody who just it's an urge to be right. It's an obsession with being right. You're obsessed with being right, which means you don't think you're right. You already feel like you're wrong. That's why you're obsessed with being right. Because if you're right, you don't need to force it down anybody's throat. You don't need to. Everybody's confused at this point.
What you say, Samantha Lee?
I knew that pain would be a part of the process. You mean so to clarify, are you saying the pain that I experienced during the process, like now experiencing that, was it worth it?
Did you know what she just did? Did you notice what she just did?
What?
She asked for clarification. She turned it to a question. Right? So she's now having to do the work for you that you're supposed to do. Right? Because really, you framed it as a question, Billy.
When it's actually a
But it wasn't really a question. See, they think because they put a question mark, that turns it to a question. Because you're that lame. Shout out to Billy. I'm just like this kind of thing, like these are some of the little nuances, little things that's problematic in our society today. Now she's doing the work, right? So if this was, thank God this is not a romantic relationship. If this was a situation, a romantic relationship, this would be a confused communication here, right here. Okay, so she knows what she felt. In a romantic relationship, is the emotions that will come out. She would just give you water, but I was trying to have a communication. No, she could tell, she could smell your bullshit. So she's trying to get some clarification now because that's what you do. And that's what the masculine energy in that equation is supposed to do. And now you're going to turn around and call her masculine, I'm guessing, because you don't know how to have a conversation, how to talk, particularly how to listen actively. If you had listened long enough, learn how to read a room, you don't call into this show to say, I got a statement, I'm man of prestige, I have my own platform, by the way, I'm just going to, give my own opinion too. Read the damn room.
Yeah, so I guess to clarify what I'm saying is that no marriage is easy, right? And so pain is part of the marital process. You know, God says, and the two shall become one. I think what we fail to realize, and I'm talking from a standpoint, I'm going through a divorce, and I've been married for over 30 years.
Oh, now we know.
So I understand this field. I think what happens...
No, if you're going through a divorce, you don't understand. You're the same thing as exactly what she said earlier, okay? You're in the middle of an emotional intoxication, okay? That's number one. You're not in a position to decide on divorce or tell people how to decide on divorce because naturally you will come from a place, the other extreme, which is you don't want people to be asking for divorce. And that's not what the conversation is about. Sometimes divorce is necessary. Some people are in a very toxic situation and they need to get out. It's not majority of the cases, we can speak to that. But to just come out right and use a blanket pain, it's not relevant to what the conversation is about. The conversation has been about a very painful process. You're not adding any value to the conversation. None whatsoever. Sir?
In his own present situation.
He's projecting me, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Who project me? And that's what they mostly do on the internet. They just project their own issue. That's why they can't wait to offer an opinion as opposed to ask a question specific to that person's issue. Or a question where I can learn. Well, you could start by saying, well, I'm going through a divorce myself right now. And here's my question. What can you shed some more light on what goes through the mind of a woman who asks for divorce? Right? Something that shows that you... Yeah, something that shows that you're open to the possibility that you don't know shit.
Yeah,
Wait.
you're right.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, funny language. Sorry, sir.
I want to just clarify your question so
Brother Ben, I see you. How far are you there? Yes, I do watch Hardly Initiated. Yes, I do.
we can get to the next caller.
Yes. So what I'm saying is pain
Clarify your question so we can get to the next call.
happens
Hold
when God.
on, wait. Give me. I want to just clarify your question so we can get to the next call.
The idea of the question was to clarify your question.
Yes. So what I'm saying is pain
No. What you're asking is, Baba, rewind.
is part of the marital process. A lot of people get divorced because of the pain, because
It's a miracle that some people got divorced because some people don't come out alive.
of the differences. But if that's part of the process, shouldn't you stick with it through that process?
No.
I don't even understand what he's saying.
It's Oku Solo Sonisa. It's just talking gibberish. It's like if pain is part of the process, you just stick it through. No, it's a blanket statement that means nothing until we get down to the specific of case by case by case by case. And that's why everybody is confused on a fine show like this. Because the rest of the other retarded shows would have been like, yeah, I knew it, yeah, let's drag them. Like, drag what? For what?
Well, in many ways, I think that's what we've covered here, brother.
That's what the conversation is about.
Here's what I want to do, because I could definitely tell you came up here more with a statement mindset than a question mindset.
Hey, I came up here to preach, brother. No,
I can tell. But listen, brother, I want y'all to know. I really want to come up here with questions for our guests moving forward. So I appreciate your statement, and I appreciate where you're coming from, and that's exactly what we're attacking here tonight. And I think you probably might have missed the top of the conversation.
He wasn't in the room all the while. If you're not in the room from the beginning, it's absolutely wrong to call into the show and try to make absolute statements that comes off as judgmental, you know. But anyway, that's that one. I wanted to play that really quickly. And in rounding up for us, so shout out to Chinye and Brother Patrick. This question. She said, Tyrese, right? She said Tyrese was very sure that I want to marry you. And then the guys asked, like, isn't that kind of like love bombing, right? Hold on, no. Let me see what Brother Ben saw. Brother Ben, how far? He said maybe he's trying to say if she understood pain is part of the process, maybe she would have made a different choices. No, he's wrong. He's just wrong. His statements were not relevant, basically. That's all. You know, and particularly because of the context. He's just there because he wanted to be right. So if somebody so this question, sir, is that love? Are you familiar with what love bombing is, sir?
No, I want to marry you. Is that love bombing? No.
Yeah. Love bombing is a tactic in which someone bombs you with extreme displays of affection, attention, with the intent to manipulate you. The intent to manipulate you is part of what love bombing is, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So if I so they married under 6 months, I think.
Wow. You see now.
So people.
You said that.
And they want, like myself and my wife, they went to one session of pre-counseling session. We only went to one session too. And if you judge me, God will judge you. In the same measure. Matthew 7:7. Anyway. So now, you know, so of course, naturally so, which is fine. People are trying to pick apart why it's so toxic. To me, why it's so toxic is obvious, but I guess not that obvious to people. So if somebody say I want to marry you, the first moment they met you and they put everything together, we went to one session, is that love bombing? Let's go with Chinye first. Chinye.
Sorry.
Okay.
Minimize the window. I was reading chat. So you were saying that if somebody said I love you,
they say I'm in love with you, I want to marry you, and you know, and the guys were like, yeah, did you catch that part of the show? You caught that part of the show, right?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Okay.
That's not love bombing. Love bombing is, I know things happen for them very quick. Well, so okay, before I answer your question, I want to say this real quick. So
sure.
People were a little confused about something that she said, and I listened and I caught up on it.
Okay.
So people were thinking that she was saying that they only met 6 months and then it was marriage time. No, they were engaged for 2 years.
Oh, really?
They were like.
So it's the engagement that happened at 6 months.
6 months. They were together for 2 years, but the engagement was 6 months, and then they got married.
Oh,
It
interesting.
wasn't like they get met and get married in 6 months. Because I remember she kept repeating herself because in the chat room people were going crazy, right?
Hmm.
Right. So now love bombing is after all those things, boom, and afterwards that person disappears and leaves your
Right.
heart. But they actually, Tyrese was very intentional with saying that he really wanted marriage.
I think he wanted marriage. Yeah, I believe him. I believe him that he
Wanted,
wanted to marry her.
wanted, he loved her or whatever, and there was some work that both of them needed to do prior to them getting married, right?
Right.
So in this case, it's not love bombing, and I remember she's been in therapy ever since. That's
Right.
why she's even in a state of mind to understand her own role and
Hmm.
speak on it.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
I kept saying in the chat, "Oh, if you said you're a therapist, we'll never come. We'll never come
Yeah.
to your therapy."
Don't mind them. Don't mind them.
Oh Jesus! But
Yeah.
that's my answer.
So Esa, she had to get the full gist of love bombing, man.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that's love bombing? I think what really makes it love bombing is the intention to manipulate. It's basically the same thing we call Mr. Nice Guys. They just, they're doing it because they it's not because it's not coming from an authentic place. It might even be coming from an authentic place, but if they don't get reciprocation, they will get angry times 10,000 times. Yeah. And then they will show you their true colors. Yep. So what do you think is if somebody says I want to marry you, how soon is there a formula to how soon you can say I want to marry you to a girl or show your intentions? Because
There's
I mean,
no formula, but every person, every human being has that, what's it called? In you. I forgot. Intuition, right?
intuition that you just know.
Yes, and you yourself really matter. You yourself, what do you desire? What's your value?
Right.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree,
What's
sir.
your
I agree.
value? We are not talking of getting married today. It's not about marriage. We are talking about long life marriage in peace.
Right.
That's what they call, in Everybody Loves Raymond. That show? They used to say marriage prison.
I know the show, but I never watched it. I never watched it.
Yes.
Throughout the show, it's so funny.
Yes. You talk about a lot of people are in marriage prison.
Yes, exactly. Half of the marriages out there, they're in prison. Which is why some people say, why are you selling us marriage? Which I understand.
So you don't want to be in a marriage prison.
Yeah.
Some people, it affects a lot of people mentally, emotionally, and you can't go forward if you're in that kind of, it's like you're in a prison.
Right.
I just said it now. You can't move.
Yeah.
We're not talking of now.
Yep.
The kids might be free, maybe 60%, but you that are in it. Allah. Don't be carried away with what you see now.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. So it is you that will determine what you want. That's the bottom line. You. What's your value? What do you really want in life? Usually when people are matured, even in the church, they tend to counsel them that, well, you guys don't waste time, but at the same time, you must be smart. You must know what you are looking for.
How long did it take you to know that Madame is the one, sir?
Yeah, it's so funny. I talked about how we met. Let's say 1 year. But we get
1 year.
that after 3 years, that's when we got married.
Okay, so you knew her for 1 year before you know that this is the one.
Yes, but it's somebody that we live in a place that in the same city but very far. I never met her for once.
So how did you know of her?
That's
So,
it.
so you knew of her, but
No,
you
I
didn't.
didn't know her.
Oh, you didn't know her.
I
So what
didn't-
I'm saying is that once you met her, the first time you met her, how soon did you know that this is the one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the 1 year.
1 year, yes. This is
Okay.
the one, yes. You know,
Okay.
it was like I said it. I was the first church I was posted to as a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the church. They used a 5-star hotel, but the church was owing 6 months. The new church,
Right.
so they now keep the church out.
Right. I remember. Yeah, I remember that story.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know my wife. She wasn't even a member of my church.
Right.
So
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
yeah, so everything just worked miraculous. Like what? Even the church there was a setting. Some people went behind to say yes. I did this. That I was like, well, like there's some people that had crush on me. You know what I mean?
I feel you. You know,
Some
fine boy, no
ladies,
people. Of course.
a lady team up with other ladies that she's been dating me for 2 years. Like me, I don't even know you. You know.
You don't know. Wow.
That was
Voila.
what I was telling you that some people don't want to post because even in the church,
Uh-huh.
because you don't even know who is who.
Maybe they were dating you. You weren't dating them, sir. Maybe it was them that was dating
That
you.
was it. Now that was it.
Yeah.
Can you just go lie on somebody like that? People are desperate, Ola.
Sometimes, you know, a woman might feel like they're dating you and you're not aware that you're dating them. You know, Esa, there's a significant amount of married men, you know, successfully married men that have said, no, I just knew she's my wife. You know, for me personally, at least the second time I met my wife, which is we're in the same space, it was just obvious. So it's like it's a clarity. It's like you just clear about the thing, you know. It doesn't mean then I gave her a ring immediately. I didn't give her a ring until 2 years later. After that.
And you know Nigeria in those days, you don't have any time. You just go straight. I want to marry you.
Right. So
dating.
I think it's confidence, if anything. And in fact, I encourage men to know what they want and be sure of themselves. You know.
Very good. You just go straight. Say, that one we should. I don't even want to mess up. This is gonna be married. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Just go straight.
Yep. All right, so let me say this really. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you and Chinye. Thank you so much for adding to the conversation today. I'll definitely be back tomorrow. All right, and you guys are welcome anytime. Chinye, thank you. All right, sir. We'll talk soon, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right. So here's my take on this whole thing. All right. First of all, if you're watching me live right now, you are a writer. I want to say thank you so much. Okay. If you're one of the 5 people watching this live, I want to say thank you. If you're one of the 100 people that will come back and watch this later, I want to say thank you to you as well. Okay. I need a favor from you. Okay. I need you to grab a link to this video and just share it with 10 friends. Okay. Just share it with 10 friends so we can get our weight up. Okay. So we can get our weight up. So, but I think these are very, very important topics that we have to keep covering anyway, you know. I'm covering a lot of the American stories because over a period of 2 or 3 days, the algorithms does favor the American stories. I've noticed, okay? But if there's anything trendy, let me know in the chat. You can always let me know on WhatsApp or in the comment. I can always cover it. A lot of people will say, hey, Chinye and Natu will come and say, hey, I want you to talk about this. Please, I want to encourage you guys to do more of that, okay? In terms of Tyrese, let me just round up like this. In terms of Tyrese and Samantha, there's only one thing they did wrong. Okay, there's only one thing they did wrong. Okay, and you know me, I don't even like to call it wrong. They could have been better with, right? It's more like it. They could have been better, and particularly what you and I, all 5 of us, we can learn from this. It's not that we should have had a better premarital counseling. There are people that met on the same day, had one night stand, and they're still together 50 years later. I know you'd never heard that before. Okay, it's an anomaly. Okay, I get it. Okay, there are people that did the whole 9 yard. 9 months of premarital counseling, right? But because they didn't learn this one thing, they have unrealistic expectations. Okay? Because they didn't learn this one thing, they had unrealistic expectations of other human beings. What is that one thing? As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the video itself because I'm actually yet to finish watching it. If I show you this part of the video, right, you see at the bottom here it says, I'm actually up to like maybe the last 20 minutes of the hardly initiated video, so I didn't get a chance to finish watching it. But I notice here on the chapter, there's a chapter here where they talk more about personal growth, apologizing. I haven't seen that yet. Struggles with accountability. I haven't seen that yet. Challenges on handling conflict. That part. Okay. That's the one aspect that if I were to say anything that they could do better, for sure, and particularly with respect to all of us, is handling conflict. Okay. The inevitable nature of doing any kind of collaboration with human beings, there will be conflict. And most people have unrealistic expectations around this very idea. So they don't know how to handle conflict. They run or they fight or they start waving hands or they start reflecting back to their trauma, right? Most people are not prepared for conflict, on conflict handling. What most people allude to, they start talking about $20,000 child support. That's the only lesson they learn out of this story. That's the stupid lesson to learn from this. Well, she's a kappa, blah, blah, she's capping big time. Who cares? I don't know her like that. Okay, I'm seeing her the second time ever. Yet, there's 16 things she said that we can get some lessons out of, right? You can learn from anybody, right? You're basically, you don't have trust in your own discernment. That's why you feel the need to call people names, even when they're saying something that makes sense. Or you shut your mind down, or you say things like, well, you just babbling. Well, it's word salad. Well, we're all word salad, okay? The bottom line is that you can learn from anything in life. But basically, your outlook on life might put you in a position where you can't learn anything from anybody, no matter what, because you've made up your mind, right? There's only one thing that all of us should learn from this, my personal opinion, okay, is handling conflict, okay? You will, if you are in any type of long-term relationship with anybody, not just romantic, okay, relationships, there will be conflict, right? And if you don't have skills in handling that, if you try to jump out into the public or you try to run away, which is what she did, admittedly, right? You're probably going to find the same problem everywhere. She even made mention of like, well, because somebody cheated on you on the last time, you made sure that the next person, the only one thing that they do basically that they are good at is not cheating. How's that going to work out? The only one thing they are good at when it comes to relationships is not cheating. And then you find yourself in the same pota again because you never learned anything from your experience. Most people are just projecting. That's the bottom line. Tyrese is a good guy. Samantha is a good girl, right? That has nothing to do with why people end up in divorce courts. Just go there. Just go to the county house, okay? There's good people everywhere. It comes down to three things, as always. Unrealistic expectations, unmanaged pride. Some of you are just coconut heads. Okay, coconut heads. Humility is very hard, right? Number 3, lack of game. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You find yourself in pata for the first time, so you're confused, right? Sometimes, multiple times, but it's now a habit. You respond how you respond. I'm just a runner. I'm a blunt talker, right? But you keep creating the same result. What do you expect, right? What are your expectations? Manage your expectations. That's all I'm saying, right? And learn how to handle conflict. Conflict is inevitable. It's going to happen, right? When she said, well, he made up his mind on something wasn't going to change, and I was angry. And they started making calls out to lawyers. And these lawyers are very good at what they do. They help you fight your partner. A person that's going to be your partner for life, by the way, because you have a baby with them. Yes, you don't get to run away because you filed a divorce. You can run away from romantic relationship with them, but that is the main issue. You have to still do it, which is learn how to manage a relationship, learn how to handle conflict, learn how to negotiate, learn how to have some patience. You're still going to need those things, especially if you have kids with them and they're not a drug addict, they're not dangerous for the kids. If you can shape your mouth to say, oh, it's a good father to the children. If you can shape your mouth to say, oh, it's a good mother to the children. Then, Baba, the same thing you run away from is very likely is what you need to learn how to do all over again. Except now, you spread your energy all over the place. Somebody lives in Atlanta and you live in Kotangura. And it's just going to be that much difficult for you because you still have to manage all of that, right? Same thing. Negotiations, patience, skills, just skills. Typical skills that human beings need to learn because we're not running away from any. You're not going to run. You can call names all you want, right? She said something that I wanted to highlight. That a lot of people trying to cap around, right? They try to act like, well, it's just, it's what they call it. They call it emotional abuse, or like verbal abuse, right? She says something which was my number. Let me find it here. A lot of women could have been at both parties, but number 10, she said both parties says hurtful things. That is a fact. Whenever you come back and tell us how you experience verbal abuse, don't forget to tell us this part. Majority of people saying that, majority, not all, majority of people saying that they've engaged in verbal abusive behavior with their partner. But of course, they always remember to say the part that they feel, right? This is the reality when you end up in a conflict with your partner. You will say hurtful things to each other on and on and on and on. Now, sometimes, let's not cap. One person, their mouth is a lethal weapon. Okay? And sometimes it's just one person, it feels a lot more hurtful in terms of how they feel the pain, which is why you can't blanket pain. Your threshold, your pain threshold is different from mine. So you can't measure it in numbers like lame people try to do. Okay? Unless you've studied pain management. Okay? Even pain management, I think they have a way of saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful is it? And they already factor in that your own pain threshold too. There's more to it. All right? So that's all I have for you today. Shout out to all 8 of you watching me live. I appreciate you. Please share. Let people know we are hanging out here. We need to provoke the algorithms. And the way you're going to do that is hit the like button. Okay, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. I'm sure many of you have done that already. But make sure it's lit blue before you leave. And like I said, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that, so that you're notified when I do come live. I think I'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. We do have a fantastic topic to cover already. So hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.